patterns within those events. And being able to recognize the patterns or the historical cycles in the patterns of history, to recognize those things, and then be able to interpret those events, but also being able to forecast the possibility of those coming events. See, now you have to look at our situation here. We not only interpret events, but we have forecast literally everything that's happened or getting ready to happen here. We've already done that. The other day we gave a talk about Afghanistan, and we told that Afghanistan, you can see it clearly now, but we told the people clearly, look, we told the Islamic Republic very clearly. And after we said it that night before we went to bed, the Rahbar repeated what we said, we have to be careful about Afghanistan, is what he said. Okay. So, if you look at Afghanistan, it is classical Vietnam plus to the hilt. Even today, they done sent those helicopters, they done sent planes back to pick up people, and the people done bum rushed them. They back to helicopters on the roof just about, like in Vietnam. Okay, how did those helicopters get back? How did those planes get back? It's because we said right here, there go boss man again, just making fun of him. See, you got to understand what effect you're having on your enemy. He's having a little effect on you, and you're having an effect on him. And you gotta play. You get to where you can play with him. Oh, boss man doing like they did in Vietnam again. He ran off and left them like he ran off and left the Iraqis like he ran, which he did. So 3 days ago, they said, well, we're going back and get our folks. Right? That's where they are now. They're back. We done got them running back to get them people. Because remember, they didn't already run off. They ain't, how did they forget we left them or we forgot? No. We said right here. Okay. Now, we don't say we don't care, but in a way, if the Negro understand where we're coming from or not, we're not going to lose no sleep. We know where we are within the world, within the scheme of things in the world, in the Muslim world. We know where we are. We didn't just get here the other day. We've been here all the time. And when we give talks like White Man on the Line, that means we got him. You can't get away from him completely because you're living in his country. He got all this stuff. He can have an effect on you. Right? But you got to understand the effect he's having on you. And then you get to know him better than he knows you. Now, he thinks the opposite. He said, I got this nigga. I got them niggas. Because you got to remember, the time we got in, nobody else has that time. Nobody else has that amount of time and that amount of expertise. Nobody could forecast the behavior of the United States anywhere close to where we could. I'm saying nobody has. Over a period of decade after decade, we already know that. Now, whether people say, we know you, yeah, man, they don't have to say that first. We don't care what they say. They can call us the opposite of just what we are. We don't care. We know the effect that we have. All right. Now, the same thing with this stuff, especially the last thing. Oh, that Vietnam, oh, the white man and run off and left all them people. And if all them people gave their whole life of old boss man, he run off and left them just like he left them here, left them there, which he did. He left me in Iraq. He'll leave you in Syria, wherever. When the white man leaves, he leaves you behind. Okay. Now, we're proving it, and we're making the same statement to his Negroes here. Because, see, we don't have to, excuse the expression, we don't have to do nothing. If they listen, fine. If they don't, that's their business. But here's the point. Especially in this last session, the points we made is, number one, the Americans went into Afghanistan. They didn't think about it. They didn't have no understanding of what they was doing. They got stuck there for 20 years, and now they packing up and they running off. And that's what we said they're doing. They're running off. Okay, as they running off, they say, the niggas saying it, not only they saying it, but so is everybody else. The world is saying it. Because they showing, you can watch TV, they said this is the Vietnam. I don't know if y'all may not remember, but the people standing on top of the U.S. Embassy in 1975, you probably saw films of it. The Vietnamese, please let us, and they hanging on the helicopter. Boss man saying goodbye. After that, the communists come in and took over, and they call them the boat people. Y'all may not have heard about them. That means the people in Vietnam, the snitches jumped in the water on old rickety boats. They had to get away because the communists is coming. See, man, and the Reds came in there, and all them tattletale Vietnamese had to leave. That's why they had all the Vietnamese coming over here, 75, 76, 77, up to 80 and all that. All those new people down in Texas, out in California, you know. Okay. So we know that's the American psychic. We know that's the pattern of behavior of the American government. When it's time to go, they pack up and leave. And you say, boss man, I was with you. I was an interpreter, I was a translator, I was snitching on everybody. And that's what the people are, boss man. Last week, 2 weeks ago, all they people, you can see it on the news, all they people from Afghanistan telling them, boss man, they're going to kill us. I remember one lady was saying, they're leaving us to die. The government. The U.S. Then they jumped over there. They're going back to get them. They said, we'll take them to Guam somewhere. Why don't you bring them right into the United States? People did. The Iraqis, some of them are dead now, putting their life on the line for boss man. Right? Some of the Syrians, they thought they were getting killed right now because they stayed with boss man. And boss man supports, whether it's Kurdish groups or whoever, when it fits them. But now it's not just boss man running things right now. It's the Zionists running things, and sometimes the Zionist program conflict with the U.S. policy, and sometimes they travel in the same direction. This thing with CARE that we're doing right now, this is a mixture. This is like the Negro problem. This is a mixture of Zionists. The Zionists set this up. The Zionists chose these guys. The Zionists helped them build up. They'd be collected. They'd have money bags. You wouldn't believe it, the amount of money they collect. Because the Zionists hook them up. And the Zionists also back them with the right thing to say at the right time to the right people. And all those congressmen and everybody would not go along with CARE unless the Zionists gave them permission. You see what I mean? That's clear. If the Zionists, right, give them permission for the Congress, then they'll say that they're all right. The Zionists don't give nobody no permission to cooperate with Iran. Right? The Zionists give them permission to challenge Iran using the Munafiqeen, right? The runaway Iranians. The runaway Iranians is the ones that have connections inside of Iran that help them with those bombings that they do, whether it's at atomic energy, all of that stuff. Those are snitches inside of Iran that belong to these revolutionary groups or counter-revolutionary groups. Okay. Now, when they set up AMC, American Muslim Council, Al-Moody and all those guys, see, there's been several groups that they set up here. And Al-Moody, he just got out of the penitentiary. Al-Moody was in the media unit there at Terre Haute. I used to talk to Al-Moody and them all the time. See, we've been here a long time, and therefore we have direct access to all those people. Everybody that stayed away from us under direct orders from the system. We went down there to care, right? And we would be knocking on the door, hey, we're out here, or we'd be out there with the loudspeaker, hey, we're out here. They wouldn't even come to the door, right? Can you imagine? They're supposed to be a civil rights organization. They won't even come to the door. If the thing was not under their purview, they could say, well, you stuck with us when we was getting up. We'll give you a little advice. We got a whole legal team. We won't get on this on that, but we'll write you up a whole proposal and you follow that. If they was our friends, right? They didn't do that. Plus, the thing that they were standing on was an illegal premise. The other thing that's important about that, it's not that they get what they deserve, but they trusted the Zionists. What do you mean they're working with the Zionists? Here's what happened. Look at it. The Zionists build them up. That's step one. The Zionists give them all the support they need. That's step two. The Zionists give them the cover that they need. The Zionists will say one or two little semi-bad things about them, but they won't be too bad, And under the cover, they said that these are our homeboys. So the Muslims will think, hey, the Zionists don't like them. But they will be the Zionist people. See, the Zionists have built organizations all over the Muslim world. The Zionists and the colonialists have built organizations all over the Muslim world. Do you think they're going to leave the United States of America home free? It don't go like that. Okay. Now, we have a policy now that we're going to follow through with, what's the other people down in Texas? Yeah. Okay. Whatever it is, here's what we're going to do. Now, you can see our policy from the last decades. Let's take the last 5 or 10 years. So here's clearly our policy. All of these people, the ones down in Texas, and they had them, and within a few years ago, they had got rid of the AMC, American Muslim Council. That was downtown, CARES downtown. All of them have big offices downtown. Okay. At a certain stage, they didn't want us around. They didn't want us around at all. So we have to add up from the very beginning who they are, which we did. We added all this up. There's no surprises in none of this for us. We knew from day one who they was and who was behind them. Okay, now, as the Zionists build up their organization, let's say CARE, they become the official spokesman. They feel, the people in CARE feel like that's what the Zionists wanted for them. Because remember, they had them, they are us Palestinians. So those groups have direct, when you hear the Zionists know this and they know that, they in there, they build those things, right? We know that, so we have to play with them. That's why we whoops the Zionists behind all the time. We got their number. Don't nobody else in America have their number. Nobody don't have their number. It ain't nobody that slaps them around and laugh at them and play with them but us. We like the Ken Norton Ken Norton with Muhammad Ali. He had his number. Nobody else had his number. He didn't even know he had his number, but that fool was so unorthodox that he had Muhammad Ali's number, broke his jaw, right? Yeah, Ken Norton did. And he's like not that good a fighter. He wasn't nothing like George Foreman now. But he had Muhammad Ali's number. We used the Muhammad Ali, Jack Johnson approach. So what do we know about all of this? Well, a lot of things we don't know nothing, but we know one thing. Historically, we got the Zionist number. And every time they come up against us, we slap them around like children and make fun of them. They ain't never get ruffled. They can't do that. Because they can't, whatever they come with us at, we just turn it into a big joke and make them look like a damn fool. That's the way we do the biggest monster in the world, the Zionist. All right? Nobody has taken full advantage of that yet. Because the Zionists is in control. The Iranian groups and all that here, Zionists running stuff. The Muslim organizations, all the big Muslim Masjid are controlled by Saudi Arabia, which Saudi Arabia is controlled by Zionists, right? All of that hookup is going on. That's what's going on here in America. And every last one of those people are against us. None of them have anything to do with us. Because they boss man and told them, you stay away from that nigga. And they do it. Right? Okay, now. We can tell where we at by how everybody act. Nobody has to send us or write us no note. How does everybody act? We know who they are. We've been knowing it for decades. And we take very good care of crisscrosses, double crosses, and triple reverses. This is where they made a mistake. On a double cross and a double reverse, they give them the charter to do Islam in America and to become famous. Okay. But they don't believe, they believe the Zionists. The Zionists come back like they have. Half of this stuff is the Zionists setting them up. Why? You think they're going to have a Muslim organization and all them women going to be just nice, friendly Muslim ladies? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. 60, maybe 75% of them are going to be the police, Zionist police. You might get lucky and it's 50-50 of them, but it doesn't make any difference, because if you ain't right, if you like any of these guys here, which the Muslims that stab Muslims in the back are funny behind Muslims. They can't stand having white girls running around or nobody else with their butts sticking up in the air. They can't stand it. There's an old saying in Jahiliyyah, excuse us, everyone. They said that nigga there, the pimps will say, that nigga will never be nothing till he's too kind to his dick. That means he's too kind to his private parts. In other words, he can't do no pimping because he gonna be, the girl can't get out of the bed with him. Excuse the expression, that nigga will never be nothing. That's what the other pimps will say about a good-looking, handsome guy. He's too kind to his dick. He's too personally. Now, a good pimp, if he's talking to a woman and he's trying to turn out and he get to lacking her, he'll go in the bathroom and masturbate to get his mind back together. Yeah. The big ones, that's what they do. That's a common thing. So you can think properly. You can't think properly about no lady and you just drooling at the mouth. And you're a man, that's a woman, so sometimes it's going to happen. So you just say, excuse me, sister, and he go in, he masturbate, and now he come back, he done got rid of whatever he needed to get rid of, and now his mind is focused on turning her out, not on getting in the bed. Yeah, that's how, I'm telling you how the game go. Not that I know nothing about it, but I'm just telling you how the game go. You don't have to believe it, but that's the saying. This nigga won't never be nothing. He's too kind to his dick. Nihad will never be nothing. He's gangster with me and other brothers, but he's too kind to his private parts. White women and all that, that's what they do. That's what they're saying. And they send all these white women and Persians, and you hear they talking about new converts. New converts are who? Either a Negro woman, which they gonna be, hey, or a white woman, or one of them tender other kind of women. Arab, Persian, he's still too kind to his penis. These boys they talk about phony marriages. These niggas be having, muta is supposed to be illegal. These are Sunnis. They having mutas, rutas, and anything else they want. Temporary marriage. Married to this, they got one wife that they had. See, when they started out, they had their wife. When a nigga get a government contract, it's like when a nigga get big in basketball. He got his original wife. Now all these other tenders is running around, and he's gonna leave her as soon as he can. Whether it's O.J. Simpson, don't make no difference. They do. They gotta go. Because that was a girl that they was in school together. She nursed his health and got him up in the big league. And when he was depressed, she stroked him. But once he get in the big time, she may not be that fine, what he call fine. And all these other nasty old ladies running around, they butt up in the air, or the football players, ladies kicking all what they be doing, the cheerleaders and stuff like that. Well, like O.J. Simpson, the girl out there was selling, she's a hot dog seller or something. And that's what caught him. One of them, anyway. Masjid al-Islam, they can't get nowhere. Nowhere. Boy, I'm telling you, you talking about mad. They can't do nothing with none of them. Because see, when you came through the game, you got all the game. And that stuff they play is for children. That stuff they play is for children. Right? And the Zionists, imagine the Zionists, imagine the Congress and the Senate. If you've been here long enough, you will see the Republican Senate. They have somebody on charges chasing white women up and down the hallway, 10, 15. If you be in D.C., everybody going to go through that. And then you begin to learn that there's a driving force behind them becoming famous, wanting to be well known, wanting power. The main thing they want power is to manipulate it to be over women, not to get nothing good done. I don't care if it's a Governor Cuomo or Romo or Jomo, it don't make no difference. I'm not saying they're all like that, but that's how they see life. That's how they see life. That's the purpose of power. Right? That's the purpose, is to have your choice. Right? Huh? That's what they act like. That's the whole goal. The goal, I want to be the chief, so, well, I can have everybody, that's what the chief, for them, if you look at them guys, they not Romeos and that handsome and all of that. They dummies looking. Right? You look at them dummies in the Senate and the Congress. Them old crackers and the Negroes ain't no better. But power, even when you get rich, people start lying to you. Like, women used to tell me I'd have on them sharp clothes. They say your eyelashes look like mink. I said, niggas must think I'm a fool, a damn fool here. But it's okay, go ahead. What else you want to tell me? But see, you gotta have that game covered, that Jahiliyyah game covered. If you don't, I'll give you a point. They have never, and they can't say anything about women or anything. Right here, right now. They couldn't even arrange it where it would look like. I said, oh no. Boy, look here. We was asleep in the side room in the Masjid in Oakland, and my son would be next to me. So ladies was always calling at night because they figure at night your threshold is so one time or other times here come a white woman call. Now this white lady was healthy. I mean healthy, like a lot of white women look healthy now, but in the old days they was straight up and down. And Negroes was, had, now you see, boy, I don't know what they eating, but you can see they ain't straight up and down no more, So I don't know, but anyway, Imam, could you come over and pick me up and take me? I said, lady, it's pouring down rain outside, and it's 12 o'clock at night. You think I'm going to come over and pick up a white woman and be driving around in the city and it's pouring down rain? Because that's the time when Negroes mess around in the game, when it's pouring down rain. In the wee hours, that's what the music says. It's pouring down rain. It's slick time. Anyway, and they know what. I say, oh no. I said, you can get you a cab. I can call you a cab. One lady calling. Imam, I would like to tell you after about a half-hour talk, let me tell you about my vagina. I said, sister, you can't be talking. At first she said, I look like Imam. Imam used to be an Ethiopian model or something like that. This is what I look like. She's telling me on the phone. So my son is laying, he's 16 then, my youngest. Give me the phone, Dad. Let her tell me about so I cracked it. Pop! You know how young people. So anyway, So you cannot do this stuff for year in and year out without self-control. Even today, they still try to lay little $2 traps. Like I said, I could tell you the latest one is right across I ain't going to say right across the street. That would mean a point. But remember we were sitting in the car one day in front of my house, and a lady run downstairs with short clothes on, what are they, shorts on, and stand right in the front of the car taking a picture of the house or something. Nice looking lady. When I see her, I play like I don't see her. And now she'll almost jump in front of the car. It's okay, it don't make no difference, because they figure, do you think if I wouldn't mess with nobody in these houses, if I knew everybody in them houses was the police, you think I don't know nobody in them houses is the police? It would be insanity. The way they got everything on me, if they're going to let somebody move in brand new houses and they not, it ain't going like that. Boss man ain't doing that. He's not going to leave any opening for you to bump into a good human being and y'all get to know each other and you can slowly convert them to the truth. That ain't going to happen. They may get to the truth, but it'll be in spite of boss man. Okay, now, so let me go back. O my Lord, thou hast indeed bestowed on me some power and taught me something of the interpretations of dreams and events. Dreams and events, historical, you're thanking Allah all the time for giving you the time to understand the cycle of events, historical events. That in itself is big, because remember, boss man, he'll knock niggas over in the first, soon as they show any sign, anything, right, they gone. They assassinated. Or they drop a couple of cutie pies on them. Or they tempt them with money, right? Pretty soon, they gone. Can you imagine? I don't think you could imagine the amount of fitna that they try to put on a person over the last 40-something years. And before that, the first 10 years is a big deal, but the first 10 years you may not be a serious Muslim, so you go along with this, you have certain type of things. You in the criminal environment, or you in this environment, so there's no guidelines. But once the guidelines kick in, and they realize, wait, first of all, they don't believe it. They don't believe it. And they keep his little thing in his pants. I don't believe that. They don't believe it till now. They still got a couple of them, but we're going to find out about that, because we ain't never seen that before. Okay. But when you do that, that gives you management and control over the historical process and events that are coming into your purview. And you got to remember, Malcolm might have been like that. King wasn't. After Dr. King, here they come with Jesse Jackson. Malcolm is a big spokesman after the National Negro. Right? The National Negro is the National Negro. Right? And he used to be a singer. As long as he can perform and get the accolades of a singer, that's what he do. He'll sing the song the white man tell him to sing. Okay, now, we had to get here by many roads. We didn't get here by one road. Sometime we was on the stealth road. Sometime we on the clown road that we're going to clown the white man. We're going to make fun of him. And you clown him, you can clown the white man to where he don't even know you. You got to stop, let me back up, and you got to tell him, boss man, I've been making fun of you all the time. See, you say, look at here. And you got to tell him sometime. Wealth, power, loss, gain. If you are used to a certain amount of wealth, then that can have an influence on your behavior. But if you've been sleeping on the floor for 50 years, nothing, right? And the only thing you got maybe is a little platform, because sometimes water come in where you at, So you have to have a little 2x4 where you sleep on a platform just 4 inches above, because you can't sleep on the ground, because you might wake up floating around in the basement, right? I'm just telling you reality. When you live like that, it's a protection. It's a big protection. What's the protection? They can't offer you nothing. They can't threaten you. We're going to take this from you. Hell, take it. Don't make me no difference. It don't make you poor. Hell, I don't live like I can, I live like a poor man anyway. Only thing I got is books, and I remember what's in them, so I don't, you cut down the avenues of attack. How many people are going to do that? Not hardly no many. Definitely not these. And now we'll get to these tattletales. Did you read some of the stuff about
I didn't even know
about care?
Real talk, I didn't know about it either until you talked about it on Friday.
No, well, I've been knowing about it for a while, but I was waiting. So I couldn't stand no more till this week. I just said, that's why I came out with it in an uncoordinated way, because I said, I better get this out in a hurry.
I'm glad you came out with it, because there was something 4 months ago that talked about their involvement with the NED and the whole situation around the Uyghurs, the National Endowment of Democracy.
Right. The Uyghurs are Chinamans. Oh, okay.
Right. And he talked about how CARE and the man from uptown were basically being paid to put out this information on the Uyghurs, and how the other people that were around them were former State Department employees. So this came out. Mm-hmm. I'll show you so when you came out with that, I was man, this is
hey man, it's try to picture longevity. None of this is new to us. None. And nobody in it. Nothing is new. But try to imagine, what do you do when you know all of this type of thing already? What do you do when I'm in California and I think it was November the 9th, not last year, but year before last. I was November the 8th. It was a program November the 9th and November the 8th. November the 8th was this group from Texas. What's them? Muslim Legal Fund. That's what it is. The guy you used to call.
Khalil Meeks,
Yeah, Khalil Meeks. Well, he'd tell you what he was. This white man wanted to be a Baptist preacher. I said, you wanted to be one? Good for you. So they raised big money. I would stand outside of the Islamic Center, the Bay Area Islamic Center, MCA, Muslim Community. You could play football inside of the masjid. It's that big. Yeah, you can play football. And not only that, so I come and I stand out front of the parking lot with just collecting money at each Juma. They have 2 or 3 Jumas. So I'm out there. Sometimes I have somebody with me. Finally, they come and they say, first of all, I see the flyer and it says, our brother is going to be there on November the 8th. So I come to the program. When I come to the program, everybody is there as though they had that program not for him, but for me, because he was in Ethiopia and he came back and he hadn't got no sleep. He was going to be there for the 9th for a school program to raise money for the school they got out there. Because he got some guys, they slowed him down a lot like they thought they did me. But they got some guys arranging his talks all over the country. And I understand what it is. I don't say nothing about it because, number one, didn't nobody help him at all except us when stuff happened. He helped everybody. He's a good man. But they stole all of his money. And it was, when I say Hashim Alauddin, Sharif, all them people I be talking about, they stole his money. The whole team. They had people staying with him doing this, that, and other. Some of the Negroes here, that's out there in Gaithersburg and around here, all over. When he looked up, he was broke. So I said, hey, I said, we got a fund that we've been had just for you. I don't know if I mentioned it to anybody, but we had a certain amount of money. He helped us a lot. When we saw exactly what was happening, we said we didn't go tell him they're going to do this to you, they're going to do that. But because it would have looked like anything. Hey, why is he saying this? He's trying to cut me off from everybody so he can get all that. That's possible what it would have looked like. So we let him do it. That's definitely what we let him do it. And we knew they wasn't no good. None of them niggas was any good. None. Never, never, never. One of them talking all that black talk, he's one that's teaching school down there years ago. He said you could, at a meeting in Oakland, he was from Berkeley area, he went to UC. He said, at a meeting, all the sisters is there too. Because all the young tenders out at UC Berkeley, the black ones, was coming to me. Imam Musa, would you talk to Hashim and so I could maybe get married? And I tell him, I said, man, I started telling him, if you don't want all these tenders, hey, I'll take them for you. I didn't say that, of course. And I wouldn't do it because if you're busy, you got too much to do than to be bothered because everybody got a right. Sisters got a right. Your family have a right. If you got a family, they got a right on you. So you can't say, I'm doing this for the movement and I ain't got no time for you. You can't say that. the prophet, peace be upon him, didn't say it to his wife. I ain't got time for y'all. I got the message coming this afternoon. I got to get ready for that. And I got to, you know what I mean? And I got to recite all of this stuff. He didn't say that. He had time. So anyway, the most famous saying, and I remembered I was sitting there because they was always, like here they had Black August. The niggas always talking about Black August. Well, that's same, all them niggas, I call them niggas. They was all saying into that black, 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 black. Now this nigga here, Hashim, he said same thing as this niggas here say. You couldn't melt a black woman and pour her on me. This is what the nigga does. I said, what was that? Because this Negro is half Japanese, his mama was black. So I don't know, there's something funny about it. Anyway, but I had heard this statement from some slick Negroes. The slick Negroes was like they slick, you know, they not black conscious. I had heard it from them. Well, one of my friends, big coke dealer, he said you couldn't melt a black woman and pour her, and that's what's the name said. You couldn't melt a black woman and pour her on top of me. I said, damn. I mean, this is like something happened in the mix somewhere to where, and then you look at, and that's what they'll have. They'll have an Iranian plus, they got black-haired Iranians, they got light-haired Iranians, they got red-headed Iranians, they got all kind of Iranians. And what did he have? The lightest Iranian, not the regular old brown, black-haired, all of that stuff. Semi-Arab looking Iranian. Boy, I'm telling you, them niggas is crazy. Now, I have to put up with them niggas. All of this last 40, 50, let's call it 40 years, I had to put up with all of them. Sometimes I play like I didn't hear what they said, but I already got a calculation, The same thing with all this stuff about Nihad and CARE, AMC, and all of that. And you go up to an Imam's joint out there, wherever it is out there, in Adams Center and all that. And the Imam see you coming, and he run and hide in his office on the third floor. And you go up on the third floor and walk to the side on the elevator, and a Pakistani come out. Can I help you? I said, well, I came to see the Imam. He's not here. I said, yeah, okay. Oh, Imam Musa, there he is, 10 feet away. You have to be patient putting up with that every day, all day. You have to be patient with that. Because guess what it seems like? Hell, everybody's playing that game. You say they can play the game. This stuff right here we read is true. It's super true. All this stuff is true. It don't make no difference what they do. That is the best lesson you ever get from Islam. It don't make no difference what they do. Because guess what? You're not going to be on their ticket. Right? You ain't on their ticket. They on the day of judgment. When your name is called. Ain't nobody going to come but you. That's it. Well, there, brother, so what you been up to the last 500 years? You nigga be sweating. I said, well, I ain't been doing a whole lot. I just depend on Al-Ghafur Rahim. I depend on the mercy of Allah. That's it. That's it. I try to do one or two things. That's what A lot of people don't particularly believe that. That sounds kind of, in modern times, people flying around and they got psychologists, sociologists, and all that in this. You believe in a day of judgment? I said, sure do. I sure do. Well, can you prove that? So I'm not taking no chances, right? All you know is everything else is coming out like 99.9, almost in life, 100%. And you seeing it? Hey, if I can't believe that other 0.000% and all this other 99.000.1%, if I can't believe all that, and hey, this is what it says, O my Lord, thou hast indeed bestowed on me some power and taught me something of the interpretations of dreams and events. You have to try to remember the events that we've talked about over the decades. How often are we correct? That's all. Just how often are we correct? And if sometimes we couldn't do something, what was the equation of why we do this, why we don't? Sometimes there's an equation, there's something involved almost all the time. Well, we could have told the people all the time, long time ago, about these guys. They have all the details. They have all the backup behavior, but you can't prove it, right? And if you tell everybody, they're going to say, of course, the rules of trials and what have you, you got to have that. In Islam, there's certainly, you got to have, if it was for fornication or adultery, you'd have to have 4 witnesses. If it's some other things, you have 2 witnesses. If it's something, but something serious, on this, you could finagle. You could say, man, these guys got a wife and a half, 2 wives, and they could say, this is just muta. You don't believe in muta. You're a Sunni. Who says I was a Sunni? Well, I'm a Sunni Shia. I'm a this, that, and other. You don't know what, and then there's certain things. And you didn't have a divorce. And you can go right back there in the library. There's 31 ways to divorce. And the Sunni stuff. And you can have all kind of mumbo jumbo going on. You have to make a choice. Like right now, I live down in the basement. My family lives upstairs. To give a family view of things, I stay downstairs. But I've been divorced for 5 or 10 years. I don't know how long it is. Something long time. And it ain't no nigga that give nobody no stack of $100 bills when they divorce and then they all gone after a while. You don't know. Anyway, long story. I'm just saying. Here's the thing. Here's the catch. The catch right now. You got everybody in Oakland. You got everybody in here. You got everybody been on that team. That looks bad for you. No, it don't. They belong over there. That's good. Because that's where you wanted them all the time. Right? That's where you wanted them all the time. Just like Oakland. That's where we wanted them all the time. All over on the same team. They have already made their positions clear. And that's wonderful. We don't have to prove nothing. And it don't make us no difference no way. We don't have to prove nothing to nobody. We don't have to go back to Oakland. We don't have to do nothing. Because everything is going in our direction. You got to understand longevity. We always talk about it, think about it. longevity, protracted struggle. What did our people never have? Malcolm, King, nobody. They never had a long-range struggle. Our movement never had a long-range struggle. China had it, its people had it, they had their long marches. Niggers never had a chance to do that. They cut the Negro's throat in 2 weeks and it's finished. And then they replaced all the people they killed with coons. You could tell they're all coons. Almost 99%. It's coons. And you know it. You know coons is coons. It's coons. There's nothing you could do about it. And same thing with Arabs. Let's get back to the subject. They need to control the Islamic movement in America. First, it just drifted along. In the 60s and the 70s, and Ahmed Soccer and all those guys in 63, they started MSA. But by 73, 75, and 80, by 81, they're getting ready to start Islamic Society of North America, ISNA. And they started it. Now you're going to get, first of all, you got the Saudis in there. That's deadly enough as it is. They're going to control how much money who gets. And then they got a new thing. They say, your masjid, so at that time you're going to build $1 million masjid. And first it starts at $1 million. That was big in them days. It was 5 million, 10 million, now 20 million, 25 million, that goes up. But at that time, $1 million masjid in 1980 and 81, where are you going to get that kind of money? The people could write a letter to Saudi Arabia, or a few Saudi students, they could send Saudis there, back home, and they come back with a ton of suitcases full of money. And then you have the Negroes that have all their masajid in the black community. And at first, they're getting a lot of respect because all these foreigners are so happy that they see other people as Muslims. And Negroes trying to dress like a Muslim and they trying to dress like white folks. Are you a Muslim? Yes, I am. I'm Muslim. La ilaha illallah. You know Al-Fatiha? Way back when, 1980. And you play with them. Yeah, I know it. Say it. Let me see. Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah. And you're playing with them. You know Al-Fatiha? What else you know? Well, of course we all know. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. It was so funny, I'm telling you. Anyway, as years went on, the Muslims here that was practicing Islam became the secondary Muslims, and the Muslims that came here became the primary Muslims. They had the most money, the big masajid. They started all them groups like CARE, MCA, anything you could imagine. Alamudi and them downtown in D.C. happened to be, the spot. So every big group was headquartered here. And they hired all the Negroes. Hassan Bagby and them and all these. These are Professor Negroes. And the Professor Negroes was against what they called the last of the old-time Muslims, which would be Imam Jamil types and us, the last of the old-time neighborhood Negro imams. And if you go anywhere, you go anywhere. You know what kind of niggas they got now? People that come back. Remember we went up to Atlantic City, and they're there with their jaws dripping. I just read Imam Ghazali, and of course Imam Ghazali we read 50 years ago. 40 years before, it's okay. And Imam Ghazali said, and they just falling all out. And at the same program, you look around and you see the old Negroes, Boy Scout Muslim Negroes and all them niggas that's been, it's a miracle that there's 3 or 4 Negro Muslims in America. It's just a miracle. So don't worry. It's a big miracle. It's really a big miracle because boss man, he got his nose to the ground, and when he smell out any of these people, if they don't exist, he develops them. And out of all of them, I'm just telling you, I ain't bragging, it's not but one. I don't care whether they're from New York, I don't care where they're from. All of them bit the poison fruit of popularity, of acceptance, of whatever else they was. But none of them stuck to it. And the only other one that stuck to it a little bit, he done went blind in the penitentiary, and everybody done, deserted. They deserted day one. So we got to carry the flag, and we're going to do it, and we're going to do a good job. With a head up, shoulders back, and they can go to wherever they're going. Looks like they're going there anyway. Downstairs, that's where they look like they're going. I don't know, It looks like they're going downstairs. Their behavior, Now, excuse me, I'm going to try to get back on the subject here. O my Lord, thou hast indeed bestowed on me some power and taught me something of the interpretation of dreams and events. That's the historical process. That is just unbelievable. That you can actually read history and begin to put it together where it fits. I remember it must have been 10, 20 years ago, a long time ago, when I met with the FBI down on 4th Street. First, I'm just sitting there, and, it has the martyrs wall for the FBI kill, So when I'm in there, there's 2, they always, you believe in that martyrdom stuff? I said, sure, y'all believe in it too. I said, I was sitting outside and it has the martyrs wall. Y'all believe in it. People killed in the way of the FBI, not in the way of Allah, in the way of FBI. Yeah. And as I was trying to explain something to him, I said, have y'all ever read a history book? I mean, I'm talking to FBI like that. Have you ever read a history book? Any y'all here? You should be surprised what comes across. It don't make no difference what comes across your desk. Have you ever read a history book about empires and going and comings? They didn't pay much attention to it. I bet they wish they had now. Okay, but anyway, let's speed up. The interpretation of events. Creator of the heavens and earth. Thou art my protector in this world and the hereafter. This is what a person has to get firmly fixed. When Allah got you covered, you covered. I mean, look, they could turn flips. It don't make no difference what they do. You can call them Zionists, sissies, and all kind of clowns and buffoons. They have people playing like they died, people rose from the dead, all that. You just look at them like they're a bunch of lunatics. Ain't nothing they can do about it. You know why? Allah is on your team. Excuse me. You on Allah's team. Excuse me. Just strike that from the record. How a nigga gonna be? How Allah gonna be on a nigga's team? That don't look here. It don't work like that. So let me rephrase for the 50,000th time. If a nigga get lucky, he on Allah's team. Allah can't be on his team, although Allah can support him and his teammates if the Creator wants to. Just make sure we get that straight. When the Salafi says, at one of the institutions out there, where is Allah? Because this is one of the last time I went in one of the institutions, because after I had a tussle with the police down there, you know, they stopped letting me, some kind of way they found out, they stopped letting me go in institutions, you know. So the last time is some institution right out there in Maryland, out Highway 168, whatever it is. I had the name on the tip of my tongue. Where is Allah? I know the nigga wanted to say Allah is on the throne, and this throne is over the water. Yeah, it's over the water, yeah. So I said, well, I tell you. So right here, Allah's in my neck. Right there. You're going to be like that. Astaghfirullah, turn flips, astaghfirullah. I said, well, the Quran say Allah is closer to you than your jugular vein, right? The hadith say that Allah's throne, he's on his throne, al-Kursi is over the waters. That's a hadith. But the Quran say Allah is closer to you than your jugular vein. This, so if you want to, this right here, in a nigga's neck. Astaghfirullah. I said, well, that's all right. And what do you think about, what was the blind? Ben Baz. What do you think about Ben Baz the Great? I said, well, I don't know. I said, Quran says something about it. I don't know. If you're blind in this world, you're going to be blind. That's stuff of love. Because Ben Baz was blind. I'm just playing with the niggas. You think it's just playing with me? Hey. Ben Baz said, I don't know, but the Quran seems to say somewhere that if you're blind in this world, you're going to be blind in the hereafter. Astaghfirullah. I said, oh, these niggas are serious here. That's when Salafism was growing. Don't pay no attention to all of that stuff. Those people who try to divert us from the real thing, right? With all that junk. Anyway, let me get back to the thing. So I'll move toward a close. This is a good time, though. So is CARES, is Texas Negroes. The Texas Negroes is just like all these other big organizations. They suit and tie wearing they big shots, man. And the people love them. The people let them come and raise money, like CARE raise money. Shoot. If I go to a Masjid sometime, they'll have, I know that the police say, here comes somebody with CARE. What's the Ibrahim Hooper or somebody? I just want to come and make an announcement about Quran. I said, well, they was going to let me make some little announcement about a little fundraiser. You go ahead and make the announcement about the Koran. Yeah. That you need some $1 billion. They didn't gave you the best translation of Quran. You got stacks of them, thousands of them. that we've seen, you know, the nice Muhammad Assad and all that. We just wanted to make it, go ahead. You know, because they there to cut you off. And the people, Magbag Amrika out there in Manassas, is right there with them. See, once you get to know everything, go ahead.
It's funny you said that because yesterday after the cook line, on my phone it came up where his picture came right on my phone.
Right.
So what it is, they must be good at the new Masjid.
Right, right.
And so they got some tiles from Kun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they didn't get them. They're being held up because of the sanctions in Iran. So this is supposedly a big story because either they're going to send them back or they're going to destroy them. But the whole point was right after your talk, this news thing comes on my phone, and he's being, and when you read the article, the ad is also, basically saying this is incorrect because this is against our religious
Hey, and then look, and this Sunni Shia stuff, see, when you're involved, you get to watch and say, boy, these boys is really something. The point is, they got the white man's team, they got the Zionist team, and they got the believers team. And the believers are always outnumbered, outgunned, and outmoneyed. And right now, the believers is winning everywhere. But the believers, our team, Hezbollah is suffering. In Lebanon, they had the whole dock blow up and kill people by the hundreds. In Yemen, the Muslims are being killed. Nobody, it's not a big deal. In Iran, the people are being, well, we know what's happening with Iran. In Syria, nobody is standing for Syria. In Iraq, they rolled through there for this third, fourth time and destroyed it and laid it waste. Afghanistan, all of those issues, they killed Gaddafi and did what they want. So this go round, what we're saying to our friends is just tell them, just go straight out with it. Say, look, we're going to try to get this truth out about what's happening to the Muslims, around the world. And when they show up at the UN next month, they should tell everybody, if you UN people are too dumb to see what's going on, we're not putting up with this anymore. We got a cycle right here. And they're slaughtering everybody on the list, whether it's Iran, the economy, right? Whether it's Iraq, whether it's Afghanistan. Everywhere they're knocking us over. And the Saudis is here, this is it. And this is time to just tell them, we're not putting up with it. If you send anything over, we're going to send it back double. And if you come messing with us, you're already slaughtering us. So we're in a dispensation period. We're in a dispensation period. We love everybody. But that's it. You can't bomb our nuclear facilities. You can't do this anymore. Whatever you do, you're going to have to do it. And we've been here all of this time, and we're going to still be here. With Allah's help, we're going to be here. And it's time for you to go. It's time for them to tell them that. Why? Because the tilt, remember when you shoot the ball, basketball, they say follow it in. But you don't see it. The boys in the big thing, they don't follow it in. Why? When it's in, they turn around and go. They ready, right? Because they can taste it, right? That's the way this is. It's in. We've been doing this for, let's call it 40-something years, and you can taste it over and over again. And we've been tasting it all along. We've never had a boot-licking, butt-kissing session here. We try to cooperate and be friendly, but we've never had one of those. Why? Because it's been a long time. That this is the time for the Islamic revival of Islam. And Afghanistan, they should take Mazar Sharif, the so-called tough Taliban coming. So our friends right there on the border should take teams across, and train them just like Lebanon, and send them back. Remember, 30% of Afghanistan is Shia. 30%. That's a big number. 30% of Pakistan is Shias. That's just like if 30%, 1/3 of America was whatever, one thing or another. That's a nice, you can do a lot with that. Whatever reason, the Taliban, it's not a guesswork anymore. Did the U.S. leave all their bases and all their weapons and all their bullets and everything behind for the Taliban? It's clear, right? I mean, it ain't no, do a little guesswork. It's clear. The time that it take, I mean, they can't even leave. They just, it's a blitzkrieg. They can't keep up with their own. It's a blitzkrieg. That's what it is. They can't keep up with themselves.
Yeah, okay,
yeah. They right, and they got Mazar Sharif. They getting them in days and 2 days. Fast as you can drive there, they're driving at 80 miles an hour to take over stuff. That's how fast, right?
Last headline I saw was the Taliban was saying, yeah, we're looking for a peaceful transition to power.
Yeah.
When I was coming in, they were in the palace.
Okay.
They were getting ready for
You got to remember, boss man. That's why anybody got a treaty or something with boss man. CARE had a treaty with boss man. They cut their damn throat. The Afghan government had a treaty with them. They cut their throat. The Iraqi handkerchief-headed had a treaty with boss man. They cut their throat. Boss man, he don't even know how not to cut your throat. Right? The Afghan government, why they don't have no meeting with the Afghan government last month, a few months ago? Because you're on the chopping block, homeboy. This is not a rapid, it's what you call it, blitzkrieg. Afghan blitzkrieg. Whew, good God Almighty. I mean, I'm telling you, one city, it's blitzkrieg. It's like, it's faster than a blitzkrieg. It's fast as you can drive. Yeah, if you can drive at 80 miles an hour, that's how quick you just take over everything. Our homeboys is ready. 30%. If they get out of line, you don't go in and do nothing. You just bring people across and train them. Bring people across and train them. And send them back. And send them back. And people come get trained and sent back. Don't let them trap you into where's you. The Afghan Shias are tired of this. They have Hazaris. You ever seen Hazaris are Asian-looking Pakistanis, but they're Shias. And you can see they're a tribe. So everybody in the tribe look the same. They kill them when they get ready. They kill them all the time. The Taliban types kill them. They've been killing them for the longest. I've been to programs with all of them. You could tell who they are. And they have a sad, a deep composure, like, because something's always going on back home. Their cousin just got killed, or their uncle, or somebody, and that's the way all the ones here, they all, So, there's no sense waiting for a period of peace, tranquility, and stability. And that's what we're going to volunteer to go to Iran to tell them that message. Since not our friends, but since there's another crew in, they might be, somebody from here has to tell them what they've been doing. Because they got dumb children over there that America, you wouldn't believe it. It's dummies. They just dumb Iranians. With all the stuff that's happening, America. And then our dumb friends, you saw them. The Sabiqun, you got to remember, the Sabiqun have positions in the media everywhere. The Sabiqun are in charge of a lot. That's when they always talking about the hardliners and this, that, and other, and the Zarifs and all that. Okay. Whatever group they got, they always got somebody else that's in our team on that team. Just for the heck of it. I mean, pretending. And then they got tons of people in with us. Right? But you know how good we've been doing? Just think about it. With all the odds against, have nothing. There's no physical encounter been technically on our side. The people here, Magbag America and all of them, it was all the police. The institutions here, all Savakis. They were all part of Savak 40-something years ago. Then they turned over to, I know this in detail because I deal with them all the time. I know who they are. I know their behavior pattern. And all our folks are still here. It's unbelievable. See, when you can count, well, what are the odds here? And you count. It's 100 to 1. Stuff like that. It ain't no 10 to 1. Oh. And you have incident after incident after incident to show you or to prove to you, after almost 50 years, 40-something years, 42, 3 years, who they are, what they've been doing, and this is what makes you thankful and appreciative that Allah have allowed you to play a part in it, and I just want everybody to understand. That is translated to mean that we have a special part in this. We do, right here. And it don't make no difference what boss man say or think about it. It don't make no difference. The more people he have, the worse it is for him. Can you imagine how stupid? Everything boss man did turned against him. He invaded Iraq. Said, no, you just got to get out. Can't wait to get out. He destroyed Iraq with his Taliban, might as well call it Daesh. When you see Daesh coming, remember you see them in them white trucks, Toyota trucks, all brand new trucks. Can you imagine? The original Taliban, when they come from Pakistan, they had all big new tanks and stuff. And Talib means student. A student don't have no money to pay rent. How you gonna come from a refugee camp in Peshawar with new tanks and new weapons and everything? Right? Look at these guys. They done swept over Afghanistan in 3 days or less. Backfire. This go round, things are getting closer because, see, there's other things, and I'm going to let y'all go in a minute. All of this stuff, all this little stuff happening is just stuff that to clarify what's been going on all along. Everything that's happened with these dummies, we told the people years ago. We was right down there downtown, and we have, they wouldn't even let us in the care, right? You can't come in. We look at the sign, Black Lives Matter. We said, take that sign down. They took it down, right? I'm telling you. The setup goes like, these people are always easy to set up because the Zionists hire them, they do such and such and such, and then the Zionists set them up and throw them out. All their credibility, why they do it? So that the people will lose confidence in Muslim leadership. See, Christians don't have no confidence, and they know they all vagina hounds, right? Or crackpots. Black Lives Matter, it looks like white lives matter or somebody. Anybody's lives matter, but I mean, you know. The police are Zionists, being taught by the Zionists. Why? Their behavior is Zionist. They're not the old time, we'll hang or shoot the nigga. These Zionists sit there on TV for almost 10 minutes with their knee on a brother. That's the Zionist, breaking heads. That's the Zionist policy. No other white man would even think about, well, everybody's looking, right? We'll kill a nigga in his cell. We'll get him in there and hang him and say he hung himself or something. But they're not going to sit there with their knee on you, with his hand in his pants playing pocket pool. See, if you've been in the penitentiary, you know when a sucker's playing pocket pool. He playing with himself. He didn't take his knee off that man till he ejaculated. That man was playing pocket pool. Look at him. Look at his composure. They're old nasty white folks, but you can tell what he's doing. If you've been around, you can tell that man is squeezing his Johnson to death and killing the brother because he's a pervert, and people don't believe there's people that this make them do certain things. That's how criminal these crackers are. This the Zionist perversion. It's not even a Peckerwood perversion. There's a difference between a regular old Peckerwood per day. This is just my feeling. Okay, we went over Zionist created organizations, and Texas and other places. We'll go finish up those later. Our organization, we're going to have to deal, our policy is the same. Homeless organizations out there, BSUs, we just haven't had time to get around, blacks to give them this message. And Muslim affairs. That's our national position right now. And with Allah's help, that's what we're going to do. We'll go through videos and what have you and what we're going to put out. Those little dumb things that are going on in Oakland and they almost don't count, but we'll take care of them. So BSUs or whatever they call them, homeless shelters, DVDs, all of those things, we're going to be off into that. And the last thing we would like to say, we didn't talk about it, we'll talk about it some other time. Holy Land Foundation and 8 other organizations, the paintball crew and all those people. They just zipped them up. So you can see why we're feeling so happy, because see, you got to remember, they come to us first and try to take us out. With all that dumb stuff, it's absolutely not. That's internal and external and everybody around us. The Medea Benjamin Shias, and that crew, see, look at it like it is. Manifestation of defects. All of this stuff, everywhere, everything is being laid out just like we said. And everybody that thought they was going to, let's call it win, like our politicians, they like this Miss Medea Benjamin, and I was telling y'all I was at a program, and you saw what our people said over there. They say, you like them, that's who you keep. So he's supposed to go to Syria. I want to go to Syria where they talking about the rebellion and all that. He said, no, you stay here with your white folks. You wanted them, you got them. He was so mad, he was foaming at the mouth. I quit. Then he thought about it. You see what I mean? Everything is going our way. All the Negroes. Nehad wouldn't even come to the door down there. Now he got the white folks beating at him. And the Zionists them dumped him. See, the people, oh my goodness, I got to say it. The Zionists and the Americans always dump people. Now the Zionists going to dump the Americans. They dumping them now. But the Americans are a little afraid to dump the Zionists. But the Zionists then maneuvered the Americans in such a nasty position that the Zionists have outplayed their hand. They've already done it. Yes. That's why we say we love white folks. We want to save all the white folks. Why we want to say that? Because, you get white folks, we just friendly with, we've always been friendly with white folks. And it's the mean old Zionists, right? One at a time. Don't try to get everybody at the same time. Right? Tell the truth. We love you white folks. Yes, we do. And do. It's plain as day. You can see it all over us. It's the mean old Zionists. The mean old Zionists sent you to wars, every war you've been in. In the last decades has been because of the Zionists. The Iran-Iraq war is because of the Zionists, right? The Iraq war 1 and 2, and all your area destroyed, the Zionists. The war in Syria, so they can keep the Golan Heights. Everything is them. That's right. And guess what? We're just saying, see, that's what they're doing. It's terrible fellas, aren't they? We like you. Because you good white folks, I've always said that. Ever since I've been here, I've always said that. And mean it too, I tell you. Boy, I can't go to sleep from thinking about good white folks. It's true. Everybody knows that. We've been teaching it here, right? وَمَنَسَّنُوا قَوْلًا مِمَّا دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ, right? It ain't no joke. We've been teaching that. Everything we're talking about today, we've been on this page for maybe a decade and a half. You just have to wait some time. That's what sabr is, patience. You can't do everything that you want, but if you wait and keep working and never give up hope of Allah's soothing mercy, all those in the Quran. Are there any questions or any comments?
It's all concerned Vietnam, relating core, and how it relates to today and what's going on. Just want to summarize. He said, Brother Imam, you were so right about America handling things in Vietnam. They left the South Vietnamese in a hole. Bush Sr. encourages the Kurds in Iraq in '90 to rise up, and that America will support them, but left them to be slaughtered. But these nations soon forget they're going to lead the Afghans as well to help them to be slaughtered.
Does anybody remember George Bush, the daddy? Rise up. Talking to the Shias. Rise up. And they rose up and Saddam slaughtered them. Boy, that's a good God Almighty. I didn't say it's your fault, listen to the white man, but they left Saddam what he needed to keep them in pocket. Because see, 70% of Iraq is Shia. 90% of Iran is Shia. So you don't have to worry. But they have to cause some division because some of Iraqis may not be fully and Iraqis, stuff like that. I don't have the authority to speak on that because I'm colored. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. So no, I've seen it before. I've seen like white folks mention a few things, and they scholars, even the white folks, they be burning up. You don't have the authority. That's I told us so and so, cracker. That's the only time they say that's what it is. So now me being colored, I know what to say and what not to say. There's things that I've hinted to for years. You have to solve this problem. They don't solve it. And nothing the nigga can do. I mean, nothing the brother can do. Because it involves, I guess, things like marjiat, stuff like that. It's important, but it's not to us. We don't know what it is, right? Okay, what's the other question? Go ahead.
I just happened to watch a documentary on China, but it was basically talking about how World War II started.
Right.
In the documentary, it mentioned that, because you had mentioned Operation Barbarossa. So
Right, Barbarossa, yeah.
and it actually had mentioned that the Chinese, on 2 occasions, had their own code breakers.
Yeah.
And they actually had informed that through code breaking, that Operation Barbarossa was getting ready to happen.
Right.
And even Pearl Harbor, they had actually, had information.
Yes, it definitely had it on Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
Right.
Heard that too.
I didn't
They
know.
actually knew it was coming, and they let it happen.
And they let.
Okay.
What you said.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't believe that the Chinese were supposed to. They didn't want to listen to them because they didn't think they were smart enough
That's okay.
to have that type of, knowledge or resource
Okay, see, when you take World War II, that was the last U.S. stand, big stand. It was the last massive over there oceans, over there wars, and safe here at home. That was it. But World War One and World War II was like that. The U.S. was fully blessed. Okay, we call it the Qadr of Allah. Number one, if if they would have moved on Barbarossa, then the Germans would not have ran all the way like Napoleon all the way into Russia. Right? Let's say if, we don't say if, but if Stalin would have had some knowledge of it, although he'd kill all his military leaders, still they could have defended. That's a long way from Poland all the way to Moscow and Stalingrad. Man, that's a long way. But let them in. That's why we say from Stalingrad to Oakland. That's what we say. And you seen our thing. That's the way we're dealing with the U.S. You didn't understand longevity and patience. Everything you did, we let you do that. We cheered you on. All the niggas, everything that happens, all the stuff, stealing property, they can't do it. Do it, do it, do it. And we'll get back to California when we get ready. You know why? Hell, it's a damn, excuse my expression, it's a doggone, it's a great war, and those things are not important at this stage of the game. A masjid or a building. We got 8 pieces of property here. When we get ready to do something with it, we'll have the people to do it. Right? It was all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the way we study these wars in detail. Other people don't even talk about them. But when we talk about one of them, it's specific. If we talk about Chosin Reservoir in Korea, it's a special thing that was big then, but it's big now. Boogity, 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 boogity. The white folks run up. Boogity, 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 boogity. And then, come on up. And whoosh, chopped them. The Germans, come on in. Whoosh, chopped them. They stopped them at Stalingrad. We stopped the white folks years ago. We stopped America. When we changed the name, when we said from Stalingrad to Oakland, they were technically stopped then. Just because they doing stuff now and all that, no. They were stopped in their tracks then. They don't understand it, but we do. You got to remember, nobody thinks of the Negro as comprehensive. I don't care what you do. I don't think that. Negro is not comprehensive. The Negro is not deep. The Negro doesn't understand the global things. He can't hold it all in his mind. There's not enough room upstairs. Fine, Mr. Peckerwood. Go over our discussions and see who understands the globe and who don't. Boss man don't. Can you imagine that you didn't have 5 fights and lost every one of them? That means you're getting old. It means, and it happens to everybody. The British. How often are we incorrect? What's our batting average? Right? I mean, from now, recently, you go over our batting average and you go over boss man's batting average. whether it's the Middle East, whether it's Afghanistan, whether it's Pakistan, whether it's with China, right? Whatever it is, what's their average and what's ours? Unbelievable. But that's the gift. That's our gift. Yeah, that's our gift. That's what we're going to beat them with. Now, it's not we're going to beat them. Technically, they've already. See, I know y'all don't believe in this stuff, but you ever heard of the vibrating hand? You heard of it, I'm sure. Vibrating. This is Bruce Lee. All right. Don't worry about it. If you get hit with the vibrating hand, you walk on off and go about doing about your business. Then 6 months later, you walking down the street and collapse. It's a myth. But we do those myths in our struggle with the white man. We always doing that because it actually works. I don't want to be off the point, but you know, in chess, that was a group of young Negroes playing chess. Not the ones with the guy here in D.C., but this is up in Jersey. And the young Negroes got good, and they was playing all these rich white folks. And in the movie, it shows that the white folks had all these medallions, and the Negroes was looking at them, and they got distracted from what they were doing, that they got to be better than us. There was one little Negro that beat his opponent, and he thought them as ninjas and this, that, and other. He was off on a trip somewhere, right? And this one is a Zuzu man, this, that, and he wasn't paying no attention, and he beat his opponent. They didn't beat till they got over that little psychological, here these are white folks. They have wealth, position, and status. And basically, we're niggas from the Negro community. Our school don't even have windows. Niggas looking out, the wind blowing in. Inferiority complex. But the one that didn't pay no attention to that, he beat his opponent to death. That's the same way we are. I'm not bragging. I don't even know how we could lose. We would have to, because we're so far ahead already. We could wait them out. Boss man, he done been whooped so bad, so regular. Look at it. Hey, he done lost all his last 5 fights. When a champion that was bad loses 5 fights in a row, what is he up to? Boss man done lost 5 championship fights in a row, no matter who he was fighting. Big shot, little shot. He done lost all 5 fights. Right? And the other people with all the stuff against them, they ain't never been out. They haven't been out. They haven't even been down. The numbers been against them, but Iran have never been out. Hezbollah have never been out. Out on their feet, maybe, but not out laying back. We can't do nothing, right? Our team got children being bombed. They stuff his arm as big as your finger, and they ain't out. Something's going on, right? Tell the truth. That is stickability, man. That's bad. That's serious stuff. That's the team we own. Everybody runs circles around, yeah, making fun of us. I said, bump y'all, man. Y'all is a bunch of sissies. It's a joke. I mean, it's a real joke. Anyway, are there any more questions or comments?
I mean, it was
Does anything we've been talking about make any historical sense or, or anything? Huh?
Put it like this. This morning, I had an Ethiopian at the 7-Eleven, and I did it on purpose. I said, well, tell me what's going on, in your country, conflict.
Right, right.
What you think about it? And long story short, he said, I had to move here to see what America is doing in my country.
Right.
And I said, I don't have to say anything else. You got it. But this is what I think, that you said it, I already relate to you saying, things are events driven. And it's like, I don't know if people getting it, because I don't know what they're reading or I don't know what they're looking at. But it seems like sometimes that stuff has to happen
Yeah.
for people to get it. And we're seeing all the signs, everybody being tested. And you say, we over here, we ain't chilling. But, we're not going through those struggles, and people are not going to get it until they're actually confronted with it.
Right. Right. Okay, here's the thing is, that's where As-Sabru wa Nifsul Iman comes in. Patience is half of faith. They always say get married is half of your religion. But there's hadith say, As-Sabru wa Nifsul Iman. Patience is half of faith. Okay, so right now, it's not, if it was 20, 20, 30 years ago, it was a little more difficult in those days, because you're still growing. But right now, it's almost like watching reruns. You already know, you've seen it so many times, it's not a surprise. So also, it's a close time because it's not only the political and ethical struggle, it's the earth itself. That time, and see, before closing, at the end of a cycle in history, that's when the prophets in the old days came, and it was a thing they went through. Then the cycle would end. When Moses did his thing with Pharaoh and blah, 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 that was a cycle, right? And then the cycle begins again. Okay, so right now, if the people of Sodom and Gomorrah, that was a cycle. That was a cycle, Ibrahim's cycle, and that was what was happening, and Lot and all of that. That was a cycle to teach people, that boys should go with girls and girls should go with boys. It's just okay. But right now, you might see all of those things going on. Like some people get really upset. I said, I'm not upset about none of that. I say, because we don't know what Allah got in mind, not in mind, but we don't know what Allah has written about boys being with boys. It might be so much a population explosion that you don't know what the deal is, right? And if you look at the world right now, that's the way they are. The people say, I said, hey, knock yourself out. If it was 20 years ago, I used to make fun of it. Yeah, man. But right now, I said, hey, one thing about it, you don't have to worry about population control if all the girls is with each other and all the boys is with each other, right? You don't have to worry about population control because they can, what do they do, adopt one or a few, but they ain't going to do nothing. Because even in plumbing, they have a male pipe and a female pipe, right? That's just plumbing. You can't put two male pipes together, they don't fit. Right? They don't work. So if they want to do it, that's fine. That means it ain't going to produce nothing. You can't send no water down through them pipes. You can't do nothing. They don't work. Male and male, female and female, fine. I don't lose no sleep on none of them. But they said that the world was destroyed by water one time, and next time it would be destroyed by fire. No, it's not that comfortable. Well, technically, to be truthful, it's not all right with me, but I said, shoot, I'm 100 years old, and of course I won't live to be 100. I don't mind. But I'm not beating the drum. I got to live a long time. I said, boy, these people they just stupid, right? All this fresh, beautiful planet Allah and gave them, and they just in a rush to screw it up as much as they can, right? And they ain't got no program. I don't care they have a meeting in Davos and Taos and Zaos. They ain't going to come up with nothing and say, okay, freeze everybody. We're just going to freeze for a while. We're going to have a couple of years freeze. We're going to clean this up. Then we're going to see what we're going to do after that. But we done already messed this up. So we got to clean it up first before we go anywhere else. Clean this house up. You're not going out to play. You're not going to movie. You're not going nowhere until you clean this house up. That's what we tell our children, right? Right? You're not going anywhere till you clean this crap up. But the white folks is jumping on a spaceship going up there, and this place is smelling like a snake hole, right? Okay, so that's the way I look at our job. We got it's everybody else is nervous, but it's a good time to be alive. And with Allah's help, we'll do our part. But we ain't got to lose no sleep over none of this. Are there any more questions or comments?
Yeah, but you covered it already. The brother had asked what you think about America's retreat from Afghanistan. Seems like to me like Vietnam, 1975. But
No, the Vietnamization, the Afghanistanization. I don't know what they do to the people, but after the U.S. is there, no matter how much training you give the people, they can't hold. The Vietnamese, South Vietnamese had Americans' weapons. They had it going on. RVN, whatever they call it. They had it going on. They couldn't hold at all. And this sabotage, well, it'll teach everybody. You want to trust boss man? That's what we say. Go ahead. Stick with him. That's what we tell the niggas. You like boss man? Go ahead. Go. Any more questions or comments? Okay. Well, alhamdulillah, we just wanted to do our part. I'm going to go and I think I read most of this, but I'll spend a little time reading a little bit more. Basically, our plan is to kind of wrap up certain things here. There's no time limit on it. And thinking about heading to California and whether we drive, whether we fly, we're thinking about visiting, not going direct, just jump on the highway. We want to maybe go down south and visit a few Negro spots and just get a feel for where everything is now. Yeah, that's basically kind of the way things are looking. So we're looking to go out there. It don't have to be this week or next week, but soon, before, what's next month? Is September. Isn't of them going to have remember they used to have all their big programs? They would have it on Labor Day, like it would be the first week of September.